South is watching NCAA baseball today. The Florida Gators already in the championship. My LSU Tigers playing tonight. Jack could care less. Welcome to Pass the Rock.
Could one of y'all pass the gosh darn rock? Hey, yo, I'm trying, I ain't lying, and hosting this will be Brian. Yeah. Posting like Kobe Bryant, flying to see the pie. Hit the hezzy, we got Jesse, opinions get kinda messy. A fan of out of lefties, from football to racing jet skis. He go silly when he go deep, sheesh, is Zach Zeman. Teaming up with Jack, we stack the whole team, man. Pass the rock, don't stop the shot clock. Ooh. Smack the slap shot, come on, now let's talk. Pass the, yo, partner, pass the rock, for real.
All right, Jack. A few questions about the College World Series. A, does Wisconsin have a baseball team?
We actually don't. I wish we did.
You don't? It's too bad because all week LSU has been leading this Omaha charity shot contest. And I've seen more than one Wisconsin fan say, ooh, if LSU and Wisconsin were both there at the same time, they would obliterate all records. I have no idea why.
Yeah, that makes sense. We don't need a baseball team to obliterate some shot records.
Right. Well, you got to go to the College World Series is the problem. Okay. Second question, Jack. As a person who is a steadfast MLB fan, I am as well, and goes to a school that does not have a baseball team, do you care at all about the College World Series?
I honestly don't. I really wish I had a team to root for. And if Wisconsin had a baseball team, I probably would be much more into it than I am. But, I just don't – first of all, I don't really know anyone that's, big in college baseball. I don't know the players very well. And also, I just – throughout my life, I've never really been that into it. So, yeah, I just don't really have a reason to be.
Well, here's a team for you. Right there, LSU Tigers.
In the wise words of Coach O, go Tigers.
Tigers. Always wise. All right, over to you, Zach. Anything big on from the weekend? We've been 10 days since our last broadcast, but anything big going on to you in the world of sports? I know you're a New Jersey owner.
State. Yeah, I did get myself a New Jersey. Looking forward to some future events that we're going to be doing. I picked up a new Maxi jersey, which is pretty nice. But Philly's winning streak finally came to an end last night. That kind of sucked. Hopefully they can bounce back. But I am excited for this upcoming weekend where I'm going to be going to the Phillies game on Saturday. Phillies Mets, going to be very exciting. Hopefully going to be able to, meet some people, get some, good stuff to help out, our socials. Very excited for that. It's going to be a really fun day and a really cool opportunity.
Awesome. Jesse, what is going on now that hockey and basketball are over? What's going on north of the border?
We got our Blue Jays baseball. They're facing the hottest team, the Marlins, right now, and that guy who supposedly is hitting over 400 average, which is just absurd. But all things are pretty good. Brandon Belt over the weekend said that he should absolutely be above Shohei Ohtani in the All-Star voting. I think, obviously, he's having a laugh at himself because Ohtani is the best player that baseball has ever seen. So all things are pretty good. And, north of the border, it's quiet. We're focusing on our wildfires instead of our sports teams, and all is good. I mean, all is not good, but all is okay. It's hot.
Typical Canadian answer. All is okay. All right. This one's back to you, Jack. Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns for essentially nothing. Your thoughts?
I didn't like it for either side. I mean, if it's possible, there's a lose-lose in a trade. I think it was this one. I don't think Bradley Beal fits very well with Phoenix. I think the spacing with him and Devin Booker and KD is just a little weird to me. They don't really have a true ball handler now that they've got rid of Chris Paul, and they've got a lot of scorers. So it's going to be really weird. And also, now their cap is through the roof. I mean, they have 3 of the top 15 highest-paying contracts in the league, which makes me feel like DeAndre Ayton is probably gone because they have to free up some cap space somewhere. And that makes this lineup even weirder because this team still has no depth. Their cap is through the roof, and they have 3 guys that play essentially the same role and too many mouths to feed. So I'm not a big fan of it for Phoenix. And for Washington, you traded a franchise cornerstone and didn't really get much in return. I mean, I understand that the situation was sticky because Beal, for whatever reason, is the only player in the NBA with a no-trade clause. So shout out to his agent for being a master negotiator. But Beal is the only guy with a no-trade clause, so they were sort of forced to do whatever Beal wanted. and they just didn't get much in return. So I feel like the Wizards kind of got scammed here, and I don't think it was the right move for Phoenix. So lose-lose.
Yeah, did Phoenix just look at what the Lakers did last year and says, look, if we could make a big three and have zero depth, could it work for us?
It makes no sense.
Zach, your thoughts?
Oh, on this trade? Well, honestly, I'm in the same boat as Jack. I mean, it doesn't make much sense for either team, but I do have to give props to Washington. They at least got something back in return for a guy who has a no trade clause, and they finally looks like that they're actually committing to the rebuild that they've needed for the past decade. They never admitted to themselves that we're not going to be able to compete. We're not going to be a good team in the East. There's too many good teams. They would maybe barely scratch their way into the playoffs at best. They have not been a good team for a long time. So the fact that they're finally admitting it and deciding, hey, we're going to rebuild, we're going to dish away our players, like we all saw today with an ongoing trade situation. The fact they're actually committing to it makes me feel like they're actually moving in the right direction, because you can't be stuck in that middle ground of, we think we can compete, but we're not really sure. No, you got to be like, either we're competing or we're tanking. At this point, you can't be mediocre in the NBA and succeed.
Jesse, my question to you, and this is a little bit of a tease for a future segment on Pass the Rock, but is Bradley Beal, are we finally finding what he's worth? And it's not that much. I mean, his name has been passed around for years in trade talks, and is he just a guy that can have success in Washington, but in the end only cost a few second-round picks?
I definitely don't think he's worth his $47 million a year salary that he has. And I honestly think this was the biggest possible win for Washington. Maybe not as possible, because maybe you hope you get someone good back, but they've been under 500 for the last 6 years and have just been always between the 8th and 12th seed, never low enough to get a good draft pick and never high enough to actually do anything. So I think even if they didn't get that much back for him, and he doesn't have a ton of value right now, because he's an amazing scorer. He averaged 30 points a game in back-to-back seasons 2 years ago. But outside of that, he's not known for being a good defensive player. He's not known for being a great playmaker. That was always John Wall. So I love the move for the Wizards, especially because they're also apparently looking to move Porzingis. Kyle Kuzma is set to become a free agent. I mean, that was kind of their budget big three of Beal, Kuzma, and Porzingis. So good to see that they're just completely moving on from that. Expect them to be absolutely horrible for the next 2 years, but I think it was surprising that he went for that little, but also he carries such a huge contract that I think just getting rid of Bradley Beal is enough of a return on trading him.
Oh, no, I think it's huge for them. It's kind of like what I always tell Zach, in spite of how great Howie Roseman is to everybody in the city of Philadelphia, he gets what a player is worth. This is what Bradley Beal was worth, and it wasn't that much. And I think it totally cripples the Suns. Of course, ESPN jumps out and says, are the Suns the team to beat in the West? Absolutely not. You got three very similar players, and you still have Jokic. So please get out of my face. All right, you mentioned another potential trade going on that came down today, at least news of the potential. Porzingis to Boston, Brogdon to the Clippers, and Marcus Morris to Washington. Who wins this? What are your reactions, Jesse?
I would love to see Kristaps Porzingis in Boston. I mean, their big man rotation last year was Al Horford and Robert Williams, and let's be honest, Al Horford is the 7th oldest player in the NBA, as we found out last week. He's 37. And Robert Williams is incredible defensively, defensive player of the year candidate a few years ago, but he has had some trouble staying on the court. Kristaps Porzingis is not only a great defender, he's one of the best scoring centers in the league. He had a very quietly, a very good season last year. And I think that he would be an incredible, piece to another very solid starting lineup for the Celtics. So I think that would be a great piece to replace Al Horford, slot him in. He can shoot, he can stretch the floor, create more spacing for them. I would love that. And honestly, Malcolm Brogdon was kind of just a waste of space anyway, because he was the 6th man of the year, but he's a starting caliber point guard. He shouldn't be sitting on somebody's bench. If he goes to the Clippers and can start for them, great. But they have Marcus Smart, they have Jaylen Brown, they have Derek White. They have enough guard depth as is. And if you can swap that for Kristaps Porzingis, I would do that all day, every day of the week.
Zach, how is it that Kristaps Porzingis was like in the witness protection program the last couple of years. Ever since he left Dallas, it's like, you know, people always like talk about him in trade circles, but you never really see highlights or like, what has he been doing?
Yeah. Let's be real. That started as soon as he got to Dallas. I mean, I've barely heard about him since that New York Knicks trade. But honestly,
witness protection.
Yeah. Look, I do like this for Boston, but I think the other both the Clippers and the Wizards also make out pretty well in this deal. Now, Marcus Morris is a name that you like. That doesn't really affect me. I don't think it's a big benefit for Washington, but they are getting draft capital in this deal. If that draft capital ends up being a first rounder or more, I think it's an absolute win for Washington to get a first rounder for Kristaps Porzingis. But no one's really talking about Malcolm Brogdon being sent to the LA Clippers potentially. I think that is massive for the Clippers because the Celtics, their biggest thing was that they had like 7 guys play every game, like only 7 guys. You're taking out their biggest bench piece, Malcolm Brogdon, and sending him to the Clippers, who need as many guys as they can because Kawhi and Paul George seem to never be able to stay on the floor. So getting a reliable guy like Malcolm Brogdon in LA I think it's a really big win for the Clippers to get someone who really could be a franchise cornerstone bench player. So I love this deal for the Clippers more than anyone else.
Okay. So not a Porzingis fan. You wanted to put him back in the witness protection.
Look, Porzingis is good. Porzingis is a very good player, but I think when it comes to, helping out with the roles that they can do, I think Brogdon will have a more immediate impact. Whereas in Boston, you already have Robert Williams. Al Horford's the veteran leader of the group. So, do you bench Horford or, which you probably do. You probably bench Horford and start Porzingis. Then you don't have the veteran leadership on the floor. And they already run they don't run very deep in Boston. They just 7 deep in the playoffs. So I think, Boston still comes out of this with a win. But I think the Clippers getting Brogdon, I think that's really big.
So, Jack, we talked about Horford coaching the Celtics during the playoffs last year, in spite of Joe Mazzulla being there. Do they just put Horford on the end of the bench, put him in a suit, call it a day?
I mean, I think Horford could still be a contributor for this team. He was still good last year in the playoffs. I mean, the reason we were talking about Horford coaching the Celtics was not because he was underperforming, it's because Joe Mazzulla was underperforming.
No, he was just coaching the Celtics.
And he's got 2 years left on his contract.
But I still think he could be a contributor. And I think, honestly, I love the move for Boston. I think Porzingis has become one of the most underrated players in the NBA because if you actually look at the stats that he put up last year, they were borderline all-star caliber numbers. And he actually played, I think, like 65 games. So, like, for once, his health was not that big of a problem. So if that's the version of Porzingis that the Celtics are going to get, a guy that's going to average 22 a game, give you good interior defense, get some boards, just be that large presence that he is, and actually manage to play 65 games, that's a big win to me. I mean, that is a really valuable player. And as your third guy, I mean, obviously as your second guy in Washington, that wasn't the greatest situation. But as your third guy on a championship contending team, I am more than comfortable with Kristaps Porzingis in that role at this point in his career. And I think it's a big win for Boston.
Let me just say, Kristaps Porzingis played more games than he has in any season since his second year in the league last year. And a career high in points per game and a career year from deep as well. So
but it's like you said, Brian. He's in,
but you never know,
right?
He's just never on television.
But that's why he's become so underrated. He played in Washington, so no one knew what he was doing. But he actually played really, really well for the Wizards last season.
Yeah, all of Twitter is like geniuses. All of a sudden, they're like, "I told you, Porzingis, that's the next step." And obviously, they're all Boston folks. But okay, so moving on to what's the next trade? The NBA draft tomorrow night. Blazers shutting down like Damian Lillard trade talks or whatever. They're going to try to make that work. What is the trade that comes next? What are you most eyeing up? I can tell you everyone in New Orleans is looking at this Zion Williamson situation. And I don't know if what we're hearing is total BS and, that he's not even on the trade block. They're just throwing out names just to see what goes on. But a lot of people potentially ready to move on if Scoot Henderson is available. So what trades are you looking for next and to get more information on? Jack, I'll start with you.
Yeah, that is exactly the one that I have my eye on. I don't think Zion will be a Pelican by tomorrow night. I am really I don't think it's a smokescreen at all. I think they're fed up with his injuries of the past few seasons, and obviously he is a really talented player. So they're able to get a nice return for him. And I think they see that if they have the opportunity, it looks like the Hornets are pretty set on taking Brandon Miller at 2 for some reason, which is a little odd. But if Portland is interested in getting Zion to pair with Damian Lillard and make that a nice little combo, which I think actually could work out well if Zion stays healthy, and the Pelicans can get that number 3 pick and take Scoot Henderson, I mean, that's a deal to me that makes sense for both sides. And I think the Pelicans would be thrilled to jump at that opportunity. I think it's more likely than Dame getting traded. And I am, at this point, pretty convinced that Zion is going to be a Trailblazer and Scoot Henderson is going to be a New Orleans Pelican.
All right, Zach, over to you. Trade you're circling, you're wondering about.
Mm-hmm. Man, that must have been just music to your ears right there, just hearing about that Zion trade that Jack's watching for. I'm looking a little bit different. I feel like I'm honestly shocked that he hasn't been traded on recent draft nights because his name always seems to pop up in rumors. I think it's finally going to happen. I'm not sure who's going to do it because there's never been a clear team linked, but I think it's finally time for the Zach LaVine trade. I think it's finally happening. Whether it's a team like the Heat trying to get a third piece or the Mavericks trying to get a co-star for Luka at some point on draft night or soon after, we're going to be seeing that Zach LaVine trade finally come through. Apparently the Bulls are asking for way more than he's worth, like multiple first-round picks, which we know isn't happening. If the Bulls come to their senses and realize, okay, he's worth maybe a late first at most, I think it's finally going to happen.
All right, Jesse, to you. What do you want to see?
I'm interested by the Zach LaVine trade because that would mean that they're keeping DeMar DeRozan, who's like a few years older, and it would be really weird. Put up the Bulls in a really weird spot. I mean, the Bulls are actually also in kind of a similar situation as the Wizards of kind of being not great, although they were the 1 seed like 2 years ago, which is just so weird to even think about. I mean, I can't help but being from Toronto, all of the trade rumors swirling around our team. Fred VanVleet is probably good as gone, but I'd still be interested to see if we could sign and trade someone. I heard today that the Kings are very interested in Pascal Siakam and maybe OG Anunoby, but I've also heard that they're absolutely unwilling to deal Keegan Murray. So I think they're going to have to trade somebody young because nobody's going to want Harrison Barnes, and you can bet that they're not going to move Fox or Sabonis. So I'm really interested in the Raptors doing anything, honestly, because I just don't want to run back the same lineup again next year. But hey, it seemed like the Raptors are a very frustrating team to deal with. I've heard on the sports Twitter lately that everybody thinks that they're just such a pain to negotiate with, which is probably the reason OG Anunoby is still a Raptor, because I'm sure that there was plenty of buyers at the trade deadline, and maybe he won't be by Friday morning.
Yeah, no, look, it's the NBA trade machine is like the best and worst thing ever invented. Because you read some of these stuff, especially as a fan of a small market team, you read some stuff and I'm like, come on. You can't just decide what Zion Williamson's worth, and it's not a second-round pick, by the way. Yeah. I don't think he gets moved. I think he's a New Orleans Pelican on opening night. I really do. I just think in the end, they've done too much work with him, and it has not paid off at all. It's been an utter failure. But I just don't see them doing it. But, if I'm wrong, I'm not going to shed a tear at all because the guy is not proven, just like we talked about, with other players, most namely Luka Doncic from my side. He doesn't do the stuff that we need him to do to eventually, get us somewhere better than the 9 seed. So moving on, I'm going to pass it over to Jesse with some NBA draft action.
Thank you for passing me the rock, Brian.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to have you guys guess the NBA draft based on the top 5 picks. So I put it in our document here, what the top 5 were. I'll also send it in our small chat here. So the top 5 teams that selected were the Portland Trailblazers at number 1, the Seattle Supersonic at number 2, the Atlanta Hawks at 3, the Memphis Grizzlies at 4, and the Boston Celtics at 5. I'd like you to tell me what year this is and everybody who was selected.
Well, I already know the year and the first 2 picks.
Me too.
I know the first 2 picks, and I don't know the year, but
I believe it's 2007.
Correct. It is 07.
And the first 2 picks were the Trailblazers taking Greg Oden and the Supersonics taking Kevin Durant.
Correct. Both right.
Yeah. The others, I have no idea.
I will say,
Memphis. I think I might know. No, Stromile Swift was the second overall.
I will say these are all very notable players who are all still in the NBA.
Wow.
That might have given it away, but we'll see.
07. Was Atlanta a Bogdanovich?
No.
Not that early. Not that early.
He was drafted like 3 years ago.
Well, they both look like they're 43.
Fair enough.
Could Atlanta be Al Horford?
Atlanta is Al Horford, 37-year-old Al Horford.
All right.
07.
Memphis.
I'm picturing like older Memphis uniforms.
It's not Mike Conley, is it?
It is Mike Conley.
Oh, no way.
You're on a heater.
Wow.
No, this is a regular for him. This is just him.
This is nothing to Jack. All right, just number 5 left. Boston Celtics.
Zach and I are going to go get a cup of coffee while y'all.
Yeah. You know what? I'll
his name has come up quite a bit on our page.
Ish Smith.
No.
Boston. Man, that's
I can
really
give you
tough.
This would have
hint.
been a guy that was on the like big 3 teams for Boston.
Yeah.
Wait, is this
not
Rondo?
necessarily.
Is this Rondo?
Or around that
No,
time.
it is not Rajon Rondo.
Top 5.
Ah, good guess.
Yeah, no, Rondo's 2008 draft, I think, because he was a rookie when they won it all.
Right.
So he's next
Perk?
year's draft.
No, it's not Perk.
No.
Oh.
Boston.
I can give you guys one more hint.
Sure.
Okay.
He did not play for Boston in his rookie year. He was traded on draft night.
Oh. Well,
That makes it a whole lot tougher.
For somebody who was on the Boston championship team.
Wait, he was on the team?
Wait.
He didn't play in
So
the season.
this is probably
No,
of the
he was
Greens?
traded for somebody who was on their team.
Gotcha,
Was it one of the Greens?
Who?
One of the brothers Green?
There's like 18 of them. You're gonna have to
I know.
narrow it
There's a
down.
bunch. So I'm thinking it might be someone that was traded to Minnesota for KG, or maybe someone that was traded to. Would it be Milwaukee for Ray Allen?
No, not Milwaukee.
Or would it be traded to Seattle for Ray Allen?
Getting warmer.
Yeah, Seattle for sure.
Who was traded to Seattle for Ray Allen?
That's the question.
was it? No, I want to say
Nailed it.
Westbrook, but he was the year after. He was drafted.
not Westbrook.
No, he was 09, I think.
Or
Was Westbrook a Sonic, or was he always a Thunder?
He was always a
Oh,
Thunder.
A Thunder sounds
Yeah.
stupid.
This player,
Man.
yeah, he was traded to Seattle for Ray Allen, along with like
So-
3 other guys.
And so that also means it was someone that played his rookie year with KD, with KD in both of their rookie years.
Yes.
Um,
Who's still in the NBA today?
who's still
is Serge
Jeff Green?
It's Jeff Green.
Let's go.
I said one of the brothers Green.
I'm not giving you shit for that.
Specific.
There's like 18 people named Green in the NBA.
I don't know.
Oh my
You could have a whole
god.
starting
Green.
lineup.
Get
But
the
yes,
overall
it's Jeff
pick.
Green. I found that out today that he was traded for Ray Allen on draft night.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is the 2007 NBA draft. So good stuff,
Oh man, Odin, what a sad situation that
right?
was.
Crazy that everybody else is still in the NBA except for the number 1 pick.
Mhm.
And
He
he,
really
was
had
out
all
quick.
He was so good.
Yeah.
Like at Ohio State.
By the way,
he was
6th
good.
overall pick was Yi Jianlian.
Oh, the legend.
Also, I guess Mike Conley and Odin were teammates in college. I didn't realize
Yep,
that.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
And Al Horford and Corey Brewer and Joakim Noah from Florida. Wow,
Yeah.
what a roster.
Back-to-back national championships with that team.
Jesus. All right, that's that. So are we moving on to this year's draft? We were looking at the top 10 selections, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so let's predict the top 10 picks of this year's draft. So number 1, I don't think really even need to say anything.
All right, you guys, bold take. It's going to be Victor Wembanyama.
I saw somebody place
take.
a $60,000 bet to win $300 if he's picked.
That's unbelievable.
That's insane. Crazy.
Spurs decide to go Scoot last second. All right, so do we think that the Charlotte Hornets are going to take Scoot or Brandon Miller?
Based on the reports that I've heard, it sounds like they're leaning Brandon Miller, which I don't exactly agree with. I think that they should just take the best player on the board, which I think is obviously Scoot Henderson. But I guess fit-wise, Brandon Miller makes more sense, and that sounds like the direction.
That's why they're the Charlotte Hornets, and they're picking second, because they're going to go based on fit. This isn't like the 7th round of a fantasy draft, and you're like, well, I haven't grabbed a tight end yet. This is the 2nd overall pick. Like, just take the best guy.
I mean, look, I really think it's going to be Brandon Miller, as much as it probably shouldn't be. But, I mean, the fit is there. Miles Bridges is back on Twitter, and he's talking some interesting stuff. I mean, and just with Brandon Miller's reputation, it just works out. It's a really bad way to look at it, but I mean, at the same time, it feels like the Hornets have been leaning Brandon Miller this entire process. So I'm not going to be surprised when his name is called 2nd overall.
All right. Then we'll go Miller. So 3, do we think that it's Portland drafting Scoot at number 3, or is it somebody else drafting Scoot at number 3?
Well, I mean, I've made my thoughts pretty clear. I think this is the Pelicans taking Scoot at 3, but even if it's Portland picking, I still think it's Scoot at 3. Portland is a well-run organization, and I think that even if they don't trade this pick, they will take best player available, and that is 100% Scoot Henderson.
Yeah,
I just wonder who the ghost team is. It's not New Orleans or not Portland that could move up to the slot.
Toronto like Raptors, get on the clock.
Is it though? Yeah, that's realistic for sure.
Could be.
I would love them if they wanted to trade Pascal Siakam for the 3rd overall pick. Maybe I would consider doing that. Get Scoot, Scotty, dynamic young backcourt for the rest of the decade.
Yeah, Toronto's at 13, so they'd have to get rid of one of those 2 that you mentioned earlier, I think, to move that far up.
I'm about it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all the teams around like the mid, like the teens. You got Raptors, Pelicans, Hawks. Probably not going to do it. Jazz, Lakers. You never know what the Lakers could pull out of their ass.
They don't have anything. What are they trading? Anthony Davis?
They're not trading for Scoot.
Yeah. They're trading the rights to Bronny James.
Actually, here's one interesting one. Actually, the Nets have back-to-back picks, 21 and 22. If I don't know,
you can't get to 3 with those.
Yeah, right. You're not getting. Yeah, I think the 2 that realistically make sense is the Pelicans in a Zion trade, or the Raptors in a Siakam trade.
I don't know. I was looking at like Detroit. We should have been in the top 3.
Maybe
Orlando,
but they took Cunningham 2 years.
I mean, they have
even Indiana. I think Indiana would be willing to shake some stuff up, maybe move up. That's 4 spots.
They have Halliburton too.
They do.
The fit doesn't.
They do.
Yeah.
The problem is nobody else in the lottery really has a good enough player to give up for that.
You're right.
For that pick. All right, so we'll move on to number 4, which is the Houston Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this is a total crapshoot. I think
I think after this, it's just I don't know anybody on this list.
Yeah,
no, I mean, to me, I think you bet on talent here. If you're Houston, you just need someone that's going to be good, and I think Amen Thompson has a lot of upside. He's a super athletic guard, and I think that the chances of him blossoming into a star player are probably higher than anyone else left on the board, even though he is going to be developmental. But in Houston, I think you should take a chance on that.
Honestly, I kind of like the idea of them going after Jarace Walker, the local prospect from Houston. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, this could be a good story. And I mean, it seems like a good fit because, I mean, I mostly hear about Houston right now, the Rockets, with their, with their guards, with Jalen Green and KPJ. So getting a big man to complement them can't hurt.
Yeah, right. This is all a crapshoot after 3. It really is.
It really is.
This is a terrible take, but I'm going to say it anyway. If anything, I'm going for jersey sales at this point. Okay. And I'm trading back and getting Grady Dick, which will be the greatest selling jersey in the history of the Houston franchise.
Yep. if I really need the Sixers to somehow make a trade up and get Grady Dick.
Oh my God.
Hey, the Raptors are kind of right around where he might get drafted, so
so are the Pelicans.
All right, so we'll say Amen Thompson at 4, and then maybe we'll just round it out at 5 here. 5 Detroit Pistons, who they already have a ton of young guys.
I really think if somehow we don't get a trade before this will be the first team to trade back. I mean, Detroit already, like, at this point, why not build for the future, or why not get a player that can help you win now? They already have a decent young core. Why not get someone to come in and help them out? So I can see them trading out of this pick. Let's just say that a team like Washington or Indiana trades up. They could get a Sor Thompson or Cam Whitmore, some interesting prospects there. But I mean, like we've been saying, it could be anyone after the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't think the Pistons trade out of this. I think they still want young guys. They're still a rebuilding team, and just they have an opportunity to add to their arsenal of young players here. And I don't think anything they're going to be able to get in a trade will be better than the prospect they're able to get here. And if it is Amen Thompson at 4, I think the guy that you mentioned before, Zach Jarvis Walker, would be a good fit for them out of Houston. He was really productive in the tournament. Even though Houston went out earlier than they hoped, but he was productive when he was on the floor. And I think that he would be a good fit in Detroit. They could use a big man to put alongside Jalen Duren for the future, because other than Jalen Duren, are you counting on Marvin Bagley? I highly doubt it. Or James Wiseman, I also highly doubt it. So get Jarvis Walker, get another big man in the building, and keep working on that young core.
Yeah, I think this draft is going to have an amazing amount of trades nobody cares about. Like, there's going to be a couple of moves, like up and around and whatever. But I just think for the most part, there's a lot of excitement in 1, 2, and 3. And to be honest, looking at it, my Pelicans don't have a second round pick. Let's move up to 3. Boom, boom, done. And then I can go watch LSU win the World Series.
I think this is going to be the highest watched top 3 draft in years, and then nothing after that. It's gonna. Right. I would love to see the ratings just fall off a cliff after that. All right, so I believe that is we have Who Cares going at number 5 in the draft. Who cares out of No One Asked University. So we are going to go to everybody's favorite segment. So in recent news, Bradley Beal was just traded. So let's see where he ranks among the shooting guards in the NBA. Is Bradley Beal better than? And we're going to start, going to get hotter as we go. All right. So let's remember to try to keep it as rapid fire as possible. Is Bradley Beal better than Desmond Bane?
Yes, for now, but I love Desmond Bane.
Yes.
No. Playoffs.
Ooh. All right, I think that's crazy. All right, is Bradley Beal better than Tyler Hero?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Not even close. DeJounte Murray.
Yes, but it's close.
Yes.
I think yes. What has DeJounte Murray really done? I'd say yes.
Defense. So much more defense than Bradley Beal.
Yeah, I think Beal's better.
I don't know. I'm always leaning playoffs.
All right, Zach LaVine.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
I'll give you 5
Bradley
seconds.
Beal is a fraud. You're going to see this going through my answers throughout.
Wow. All right. Trae Young.
No.
No.
All right. LaMelo Ball.
Yes, for now.
Yes, period.
Yes.
I think LaMelo's. I think he's on the way up. I think if he has a good, healthy year this year, he'll surpass him.
I agree.
Chris Middleton.
Oh. Yes.
No.
2 years ago, no. Yes, today.
Wow. Remember Chris Middleton in the finals, though. I know you like your...
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Klay Thompson.
Oh.
Today.
Yes, today.
Yes, today.
I really want to say no. I really do. But yes.
Put Bradley Beal on the Warriors instead of Klay Thompson, and I think they're a better team.
Yeah.
That would have been a super interesting trade.
Yeah.
That would have been actually.
All right.
I mean, Steph would have cried for like 12
our community's least favorite guy in the world. Is Bradley Beal better than Jaylen Brown?
No.
No.
Not even close. That's an embarrassing question.
Nah, Brown. As much as people hate Brown, Jaylen Brown clears him easily. All right, Jalen Brunson.
Ooh. I'm gonna say no.
For now.
Absolutely not.
Nah, I think Brunson clears Beal at this point. All right, here we got an interesting last five. Some people say these might be the top 5 guys in the NBA at the 2. Is Bradley Beal better than DeMar DeRozan?
No.
Yes.
Hell no.
You've been waiting on Beal all day, but you're saying he's better than DeRozan?
DeRozan is not a player that I see. Like, if I'm thinking about my team, who do I want the next 3 years? It's definitely Beal.
Okay, but is he better today?
I can't get behind DeRozan. I'm going Beal.
All right. Fair enough. Is Beal better than Anthony Edwards?
Absolutely not.
No.
No, not close.
Hell no, boy. All right. Last 3. Donovan Mitchell.
No, nowhere near.
Not even close.
Nope.
Dare I even ask Devin Booker?
Do we? I don't want to give an answer.
Beal is literally a worse Devin Booker on the same team as Devin Booker.
I hate giving any praise to Devin Booker, but he's not
Same.
better than Devin Booker.
Same.
James.
I also do not like Devin Booker, but like still.
All right. James Harden.
That one's actually closer to me than you might think, but no.
No.
No, just because of the playoffs. I mean, Harden has been there.
That's true. And I'm going to throw in one wild card for you. Is Bradley Beal better than OG Anunoby?
Yes.
You know what? For now.
I'm going to say no.
I mean, even though I'm the Raptors fan.
Are you telling me that OG's better than DeRozan?
Absolutely.
Wow.
But I'm thinking, but I guess I'm thinking more like I'm building a team now. I want somebody the next 3 years. I'm not going to build around DeRozan. I'm going to build around Anunoby.
All right,
Before DeRozan.
I mean, if this
think-
was
I
who's
think
better 3 years from now,
Yeah.
sure.
It's more.
I think in an upcoming Past the Rock, we needed is DeMar DeRozan better than he's next. On the
Oh, I
list.
can't wait. Let's do it.
That'll be fun.
I think even though I'm the Raptors fan, Beal miles ahead offensively, but OG is miles ahead defensively. So I think OG can develop a shot more likely than Bradley Beal can just all of a sudden become an all league defender. So
My problem with Beal is, he's played on this team forever, and that's never had any stakes. And so, I don't feel great about he's going to have to cut his minutes going to Phoenix a little bit, and how is he going to react to that? And what is he giving you outside of that? Defense? No. So
no. All right. Here's the final one. Is Jamal Murray or is Bradley Beal better than Jamal Murray?
Not after these playoffs, he's not.
No.
It's tough because Murray's so inconsistent the last couple of years, but no.
Nah, everybody was trashing
Just
us
'cause he
for our
plays with
Jamal Murray
Jokic.
takes months ago, but
Hey, he plays with Jokic. It makes him better.
I think Jamal Murray clears him, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
All right, that's our Bradley Beal. So I think from what we said, he's around the 7th or 8th best 2-guard in the league. Sounds about right.
I think that's about right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
There you go.
Awesome. All right. So finally, Jack, we can talk football. All right. It's June 21st. We're probably way too early, but we're going to talk some football today. I'm starting with this. If you see on screen, the Detroit Lions came out with their new Honolulu blue helmets. That is correct. I looked it up. They're going to pair it with their all silver unitards that they like to wear. Thoughts on this helmet, that uniform, or something else that they should have done? Jack.
My thoughts are, I love how immature both Zach and I are that we laughed at the word unitard, but
it's a real word.
It is. It's just funny.
Anyway, that helmet, I really like the color. The Honolulu blue is clean, but the logo looks like it was drawn by a literal 5-year-old. Like it's a really ugly logo, and I can't believe they're actually putting that on a helmet again. So if I were them, get a better logo and slap it with that color, and you're golden.
Okay, he hates logos from the 50s. Zach, your thoughts?
Look, I mean, the logo isn't anything great, but if you look at the Lions logo history, there really isn't much else they could have done if they wanted to do a throwback logo. So it's like, I get why they did it. Doesn't mean it doesn't look bad. It just does not look great. I mean, I feel like they could. I mean, I do like that they have an alternate helmet and that it is blue instead of silver. Like, that's nice and everything, but the logo is just so, like, it's so off-putting on there.
Okay, so over to Jesse. Does this look more like a helmet from the BC Lions than the Detroit Lions?
This Lions helmet looks like that girl on TikTok drew it, who makes stupid versions of every logo. Like, it's unbelievable that this is on a professional football team's helmet. The tail is so weird, and agreed that their logo has been the same for 50-something years, so like you don't really have much to work on, but oh my God, like this is pretty bad. I think even the BC Lions could do better. Yeah,
they have. Well, here's the deal. Don't wear the same color jersey as pants. Just don't do it. Give me some the Lions uniforms in the 80s were like some of the best, even though their teams were terrible. You got the blue top, you got the silver pants and the silver and blue helmet. Just roll with it. Just stop being terrible at football. That's all you have to do.
Time to cancel a unitard.
Yeah. So I think, and I hate when the Saints do it. I hate any team that just decides same color jersey, same color pants. But we'll have a ton of time to think more about that. We're getting into the AFC South today. Everyone's favorite division, a bunch of juggernauts, which we'll get to your division predictions and all that. Let's start with a little game that Jesse likes to call, is someone better than someone else? All right. Starting with Trevor Lawrence, okay? Maybe not the best quarterback in the division. We'll see. So, with you, Jack, we're starting. Is Trevor Lawrence better than Justin Fields?
Absolutely.
Zach?
Yes.
Come on.
Jesse.
Easily, not even close.
Okay, I'll give you I'll give you another playoff quarterback from last year, Daniel Jones.
Way better. Trevor Lawrence is way better.
Yes.
100%.
This are they way better? Okay. So, all right.
It's not even close.
Here's one, and Jack, your job depends on it. Is Trevor Lawrence better than Derek Carr?
I will get fired for my honor.
My honor. What honor?
My honor. Look, I'm excited when we're able to compare Trevor Lawrence to some real quarterbacks. So, yes, he is better than Derek Carr.
Yeah, let's keep it moving.
All right, you're all wrong. Derek Carr is going to be an MVP candidate this year. Kirk Cousins. Yes. Jack.
Way better. Again.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins doesn't get the love. He's got the receiving core, so we'll see. This one I love. This one's for you, Jack. Kyler Murray.
So this is the first tough one for me.
It's not.
I'm going to still say yes. It's tough. To me, Trevor is around the 6th best quarterback in the league, and Kyler is around the 8th. So I'm going to go Trevor first.
See, I'm with you with your Trevor placement, but not exactly with your Kyler placement. This is an immediate yes for me.
I think I'm also going to go yes. I think I would much rather have Trevor Lawrence at the QB than Kyler Murray. He can see over the line.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a definite yes, not even a question. Your takes on Kyler Murray are insane.
Well, this is definitely. It's they better
He's the most overhated player in all of football.
Jared Goff.
Trevor's way better.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Dak Prescott.
Actually, yeah.
Well, hey.
I guess Jared Goff had a really, really great year last year, and he's still not even close to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
No, you're still taking Trevor Lawrence if you can. Dak Prescott.
Yes, Trevor's way better.
Yes.
I don't think he's way better. I think Dak Prescott gets a lot of flack for a lot of things, but I'm going to say yes.
He deserves the flag, but okay.
I'm going to say yes.
I think the answer is yes, but I kind of lean to what Jesse's saying. I'm really interested without the mess they had in the backfield last year to see what the Cowboys can do and what that does for Dak Prescott. Jack, Aaron Rodgers.
This one might be controversial. I think Trevor's better.
I don't think it's controversial, especially like we're talking like today, Aaron Rodgers. This is a yes.
No, he's not. Not yet. Aaron Rodgers is still coming off like back-to-back MVPs in the last 3 years. It's still Aaron Rodgers.
I'm going to say yes, Trevor Lawrence is better just because of the lack of drama. Tua.
Trevor's significantly better.
Trevor's better. I just hope that Tua can have a healthy season, so maybe we can, maybe this can be a closer conversation in the future. But right now, it's no contest.
I think yes. If you put Trevor Lawrence on the Dolphins, they win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I kind of like that take.
Yeah.
Give him Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, and he's throwing 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I like that.
I love the passion for South Florida, but that is not true. And I would take Trevor Lawrence. Russell Wilson.
Are we kidding? Yes.
Yes.
This is tough for me because I think everybody stays hating on Russell Wilson, and yes, the Broncos had a bad year, but I don't think it was entirely his fault, and I do think that the Broncos will make the playoffs this year. However, I think I'm going to lean Trevor Lawrence. Coming into this, yes, I would rather have Trevor Lawrence going forward. I still think Russell Wilson is a top 10 QB in the league, but Wilson might be 7 or
what do you think?
Lawrence might be 7.
Jesse, what do you think Sean Payton would say?
I think he would say Russell Wilson's the best.
I don't know. I think if you got him in some, he had a few drinks, got a little honest, he'd say, I'll take Trevor Lawrence. Thank you very much. Lamar Jackson.
This is my first no. I think Lamar's better.
Yeah, this is the first one where I actually had to stop and think for a second. I'm also with Jack. This is a no.
This is also a no. I mean, Lamar Jackson is an MVP of the league and has proved himself at least that much.
Yeah, the answer is no. Joe Burrow.
No. Joe Burrow is my second best quarterback in the league.
No. Joe Burrow's pretty much a lock for everyone's top 3, I'd say. But yeah.
I still think Zach has Jalen Hurts above him, but I'm also going to say no because I agree that Joe Burrow is at least a top 3 guy in the league.
I'm going to definitely say no. It'd be interesting to hear everybody's top 3 because I don't know. I think it would be vastly different. All right, this one in hair and in everything else is very similar. Justin Herbert.
This one's really tough. I'm gonna lean no though. I think Herbert has proven more to this point in his career.
This is by far the closest one. These are guys you could have ranked like 5 and 6 or 6 and 7 in your QB rankings. Like you could flip flop them and be right, but you can't blow a 27-0 lead.
That's fair.
And win this debate. So I'm going to say yes, Trevor Lawrence is better than Justin Herbert right now.
I'm going to say no. I still think it's Justin Herbert for the time being. I don't think that 27-point blown lead was entirely Justin Herbert's fault. I mean,
it definitely wasn't. But
look a lot at the Chargers defense.
Somewhat of a factor. He's got to be part of it.
I mean, he got his team a 27-point lead in the playoffs. Did he hold it? No, but he still at least got them that. So I think, and that's the Chargers. The Chargers are going to Charger. I think Justin Herbert is definitely better, but I think you guys are right. It's by like 1 slot. Like they're like that in the ranking.
Yeah, but the answer is no. It's Justin Herbert. All right, the AFC South. Let me remind you about what happened in the AFC South last year. Jacksonville wins the division 9-8. Tennessee Titans 7-10. Indianapolis Colts 4-12-1, and the Houston Texans 3-13-1. And let me also remind you that I got every single pick in the playoffs right, except for that comeback against the Chargers, by the way. Okay, so here's the question. Does it take over or under 9.5 wins to win this division this year? Jack.
I'm going to go with over. And I think that's because I am higher on Tennessee than consensus. I think Tennessee is going to be an above 500 team. And I think that because of that, it's going to take at least 10 for Jacksonville to win it.
So you think the second place team will be 9-8?
Yeah.
Okay. Zach.
I'm going to say over as well, but only because I think Jacksonville has a potential for like a 10-11 win season. I can definitely see them ending up with that kind of record. I don't think the second place team has an over 500 record, but I could see second place being like a 7-win team potentially. Like the second place team isn't going to be making like any major headlines, but they're going to be like, okay, like that team's on the up and up. That team's still going to be pretty good in a few years, but right now, it's Jacksonville, and I can see them getting 10 wins.
But if the second place team has 7 wins, then it's not going to take 9.5 or over to win the division. It'll only take 8 would win the division.
Well, I thought you meant will the number one team have more or less than 9.5 wins?
Yeah, I thought you were saying the AFC South.
No, I mean, how many is it going to take to win the division?
How many is it going to take? Then yeah, I'll go under for that then, because I don't think a second place team will have enough wins, to force it to be 10 wins. But I think Jacksonville, regardless, should get 10 wins this year.
All right, Jesse, how many wins does Jacksonville need to win this division?
I only think they need like 9. I think it's a close under. I don't think anybody else is over 500 in their division. I think the Titans will be very close of like 8-1 or 8-9. I don't think they're going to be over 500 this year. The Jaguars, I think, will win 10 games, but they have a very tough schedule this year, too. They play a lot of really good teams. Outside of their division, they play the Chiefs, they play the Bills, they play the Niners, they play the Bengals, they play a lot of really good teams outside of those divisional games. So I still think that they'll be right at that 10-win mark, but it would likely only take 9.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting is that the AFC South and the NFC South play each other this year. So when you're talking about both these teams, I think both these divisions, we would all agree, are the bottom 2 or 2 of the bottom 3, and they get to play each other. So there's a lot of wins in there for somebody. I don't know who. That's why I'm high on the Saints doing all right this year. All right, second question. Which rookie quarterback has the biggest impact in 2023? Richardson with the Colts, Stroud with Houston, or Levis with Tennessee? Zach, starting with you.
For me, I think it will likely be Richardson in Indianapolis. I know Gardner Minshew right now is the projected starter, but I don't think he's going to hold on to that job for long. I mean, I've seen Minshew play myself. It's not very pretty. And he's also got a few weapons to play. He's got Jonathan Taylor, who had a very down year, but, always room to bounce back from that, and Michael Pittman Jr. So he's got tools. He's got legitimate weapons. I think he'll have the biggest impact in this upcoming season.
Jack, you sneered when Zach said that, so I'm going to go to you next.
Yeah, because I just don't think Richardson is pro-ready. I don't think he's going to be that great in year one. And to me, this answer is pretty easily C.J. Stroud. He is by far the most pro-ready of these 3 quarterbacks. I don't know that Levis sees the field until at least 3/4 of the way through the year. And I don't know that Richardson sees the field, for that matter, until probably halfway through the year. But CJ Stroud is going to be the day one starter. He's pro ready. I think day one, he's going to be at worst a league average quarterback. And I think he's going to make the Texans a real team again. This is not just going to be a team that is going to be the complete bottom feeders of the NFL this year. They're actually going to be decent. And a big part of that is going to be CJ Stroud.
All right, Jesse, to you.
I'm finding myself agreeing with Jack because I think Houston is not going to be the last team in this division. And I think that CJ Stroud is going to be a big part of that.
I think I'm going to go with Zach on this one. I definitely think it's Richardson. I think that they give him the ball early enough, just like my friend Just Be Trolling been talking about in the chat. I think they give him the ball early. I think they give the ball to Jonathan Taylor a lot and, take the pressure off of him as much as they can. But he learns this year on the job training. I don't think CJ Stroud has enough around him to make a huge impact. I think the Titans are going to be terrible. I know they'll be decent on defense, but I think their offense is going to be terrible. But I also think Will Levis could not see the field, even if they are terrible. So I am going. I'm definitely going to go with Richardson here because I think he does need the time, and they have the running game to put him in there and not feel totally terrible about it. Is there a scenario, Jesse, you're getting this one first. Is there a scenario where this division has a sniff of a chance of a wild card team?
Absolutely not. No, I think the Titans will probably be somewhere near the race of, like I said, they're going to have around 8 wins, I think. But we've seen teams with 10 wins not make the playoffs in the AFC these last few years. So I don't think that anybody's going to be in a wild card slot. There's just way too many good teams in the AFC for that to happen.
Back. Any chance for a wild card team?
Yeah, I think the Titans definitely have a chance. I'm a big fan of the Titans this year. I don't think they're the best team in this division. I do still think they're the second best, but they low-key have a top 5 defense in the NFL. They have a really good defense that does not get talked about enough, and a really good head coach in Mike Vrabel that is going to keep these guys competitive. And I think their offense, while it isn't great, is good enough to sort of keep the team afloat while the defense really carries them. And I think they're going to surprise some people this year. I think people are a lot lower on them than they should be based on the year they had last year. And I think a lot of that was because of Tannehill's injury. I'm not saying I'm going to predict the Titans to be a playoff team, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if they were.
So, A, you definitely went out of turn because I called on Zach.
Oh, I swear I heard
B, I want to draw attention to the fact that our friend Jake L has an IRL friend. I just think that's an interesting Okay.
Crazy.
Over to you, Zach.
I do not think that we're going to be seeing a AFC South team in the wild card, but you never know. Maybe Anthony Richardson has the best rookie quarterback season since like Ben Roethlisberger. Just magic happens for the Colts. But realistically, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's just going to be Jacksonville as the 3 or 4 seed, and that's about it.
All right. Yeah, I don't think there's a chance that there's a wild card team. I really wish Alpha Dog were here because we're talking some Colts football. We're not getting any comments. But division predictions, okay? I think we're all going to be pretty close at the very, very top, but we'll see what happens the rest of the way. Zach with a Z, you're up first.
Well, so my division predictions are as followed. I have Jacksonville winning the division, probably 10 wins, I'd say. I have the Colts finishing second. Not because they're going to be exceedingly good, but because I'm not high on the other teams in this division. I think they'll be around that 7-win mark. I'm going to have Tennessee probably also right around 7 wins. It could be like a tiebreaker difference here, but I have Tennessee in third and Houston in fourth. Houston probably does see improvement, but not enough to really compete in this division, which is kind of embarrassing to say because this is the AFC South. Houston could probably be like a 5-6 win team and still be 4th place in this division.
Zach, I have the exact same 4 in that order. Jacksonville first, Indianapolis second. I think I even have a scenario where Tennessee could drop below Houston if CJ Stroud just comes out and blows it up. But I'm definitely going to go Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Tennessee, Houston. Jesse.
I'm going to say Jacksonville, Tennessee, Houston, and then the Colts in dead last. The Texans were only 1 game behind the Colts last year, and I think that the Texans got a lot better over the offseason than the Colts did. I think they had a great draft night. They got Will Anderson and CJ Stroud. And the Colts, they're going to have to take their time. I don't think that their defense is as good. They lost Stephon Gilmore. There's still a lot of questions with that team. Jonathan Taylor, hopefully he's healthy. And, Michael Pittman, hopefully he's healthy again. But I think the Colts are destined for a 4th place finish in the AFC South.
Jack, tell us how it's going to be, buddy.
All right. I also have Jacksonville number 1. They are overall the best team in the division. I just talked about how much I love Tennessee. They're my number 2 team. I have Indy in third. I think that their defense is still solid, and I'm sort of excited for their revamped offense. I think the Shane Steichen hire was really good. And I think their offense is going to be better this year than it was last year. And in fourth, I have Houston. I think Houston is going to be a better team than they were last year. I think they're a real team again. They're not just going to roll over. But at the same time, their roster just still isn't that good.
All right. So it's time now for the most exciting part of the program here. We have our fantasy draft. If you remember last summer, we did a fantasy draft by division. You picked 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex, and it was just the 3 of us. Okay. So it was Zach and Jack and I, and Jesse is new to this process. Jesse, it works just like a regular fantasy draft. So fantasy draft, AFC South only. Let's go. Zach, you're up first.
Ooh, I get first pick. Oh man, this is tough. This is actually a pretty tough decision because
No, it's not. This is the easiest pick of your life.
I think there's two options.
there's two options. There really are two options. It's either Derrick Henry or Trevor Lawrence. There's only two good quarterbacks in this division. So, do I secure the probably obviously the best player on the board, or do I secure my quarterback position? I'm still going to go with Derrick Henry. He's the best fantasy player in this entire division, but I'm already a little bit worried about my quarterback position.
You should be. Going to Jack next.
Yes. On Wisconsin,
Oh.
Jonathan Taylor.
Good pick.
What?
Jonathan!
Okay.
Oh, my God.
I did not think that the best
Well-
player on this board would fall to me. Give me Trevor Lawrence. Every other quarterback sucks
See?
in this division.
See?
Give me Trevor Lawrence.
See?
Oh my God. I'm balling.
Jonathan
He's-
Taylor is going to have a huge bounce back year this year. I think he's going to be awesome. That revamped
Yeah.
offense works in his favor.
I'd
Yeah,
love
good
now.
luck with Will.
The good news is
I knew that Trevor was going to go soon, so I knew if I wasn't getting, now I'm really worried about my quarterback.
you should be. So I get the turn. No wide receiver has been picked yet. I actually wrote down Jesse's pick on the wrong position. So here we go. We have the likes of Bobby Trees. We got John Mechie, a big pick of mine from last year. It didn't end up playing. Indianapolis, Michael Pittman Jr. Tennessee, Traylon Burks. Nick
and nobody.
Westbrook Akine. I think, do I go Calvin Ridley and just bet on the Renaissance? I kind of don't hate that pick. And I'm looking at, there's not much else to really think about. So give me Calvin Ridley.
I think that's a great pick. I was hoping he'd fall back to me.
I like that pick.
Now,
I think Calvin Ridley is going to be a top 10 receiver next year in fantasy. Like, huge year.
I'm absolutely going to punt quarterback at this point. Because holy moly, my running back is going to be terrible too. This is a fun division. That's all I got to say. Holy. So I think I'm going to go back and I guess go double wide out and go Michael Pittman.
Ooh,
Jesus.
Okay.
You're leaving scraps for the
Yeah,
rest
the
of us
receivers
here.
are so bad in this division.
They really are. This is going to be fun. Jesse, you're up.
Well, this is quite the interesting spot for me to be in. I got to decide if I want to reach at receiver now and take somebody or get a running back. But these two already have a running back. So not to say they couldn't take another at the flex. I'm going to secure my running back position, I think. And I'm going to go Dameon Pierce as my running back.
Good pick. Good pick.
Wow, that was not what I was expecting you to do, and I am very happy with the way this board has fallen for me. I am going to secure my flex here and take Travis Etienne.
Oh,
I was deciding between Etienne and Pierce, but I don't know. I think Dameon Pierce is going to have another big year. He was running mean last year. So.
I am not completely screwed. Thank you, guys. Oh man, I know exactly who my next two.
Yeah,
picks
you are.
I know for a fact who my next two picks are going to be. So first, I'm going to go with my wide receiver. I'm getting Christian Kirk here. And then,
Smart.
since, the only decent quarterback left, I'm going to bank on the talent. I'm going to go CJ Stroud.
All right, Jack, to you. You have a quarterback position open and a wide receiver position open.
Yeah. Well, to me at this point, the receivers are going to be terrible no matter who I pick. So I might as well just take the quarterback that I want here. So it's basically Ryan Tannehill, which is disgusting, or Anthony Richardson. And I'm just going to bet on the talent. Give me Richardson.
That's too bad for me. Jesse, to you.
All right. So I've got my quarterback and my running back. And now I just need a wideout and a flex. This is tough, though. I think I'm actually going to do a little play here. I'm going to do my flex play, and I'm going to take Dalton Schultz
Ooh.
off of the Houston Texans.
I like that.
I like. Very nice.
Yeah, underrated signing for the Texans, by the way, getting another weapon.
So I can't take. So I need a running back or a quarterback. I'm gonna get them both in a row, so I can take anybody I want, which is a great thing. Houston running back Pierce gone. Indianapolis running back Taylor gone. Tennessee running back Derrick Henry gone. Jacksonville running back Travis Etienne gone. Ty J.
There's
Spears from Tulane with Tennessee, potential. Zach Moss with the Colts, potential. Devin Singletary with the Texans, potential. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be a homer. Give me Ty J. Spears. Maybe Henry finally has that that injury that he really hasn't had throughout his career, and Ty J gets a little chance. Maybe he's a little third down back, and we get to do something there. Next, I have quarterback. I have to take a quarterback. It's making me. So I could go with Malik Willis or Will Levis from Tennessee as backups. I could go Gardner Minshew and just, roll with the mustache and assume, like you all are saying, that Richardson's not going to play. I could go with Davis Mills just because it's fun. I want to go Will Levis and just hope by the playoffs that he's playing and I can make a miraculous run with this team. But I think in the end, I'm just going to go ahead and go Tannehill. I'm sorry, Gardner Minshew.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Tannehill the whole time.
No. Give me Gardner Minshew. I'm just staying away from that whole Titans situation.
I actually like it, Brian. If this draft had gone differently, I would have saved Gardner Minshew for my quarterback pick as well.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to have the only competent quarterback on my team. So I have got to take a wide receiver. And wow, it's basically between Zay Jones, maybe Alec Pierce. You got Nico Collins and Bobby Trees still on the list, and then Traylon Burks. So I'm going to say give me Traylon Burks. I don't want Robert Woods on my team. I think he was great in past years. I think he's a little past his prime. Traylon Burks showed a lot of promise. So give me TB.
Burks is getting a lot of, you can't really trust the media in June, but getting a lot of play of doing something this year. So,
yep. All right.
Next, we have Jack. You need a wide receiver.
I do need a wide receiver, and it's slim pickings, but it's also been slim pickings for 3 rounds. So I'm happy that I waited till this point. My options are pretty much Bobby Trees or Josh Downs, and Josh Downs is a guy I really like out of UNC, a rookie. But I think Bobby Trees is the obvious pick, and I think he could actually have a good year with CJ Stroud, playing a similar role that Jackson Smith and Jigba did for Stroud at Ohio State. Just sort of that safety blanket, a guy that's going to get open in the short game a lot. And I think in PPR, Bobby Trees could actually have a good year. So give me Robert Woods.
All right. Over to you, Zach. You could take any non-quarterback with this pick.
That's right. I can take any non-quarterback. I saved my flex for last, and the pick has been obvious from at least the last round. Jesse, I really liked your Dalton Schultz pick, but if we're talking about underrated signings, this didn't happen this past year, but Evan Ingram's still on the board, and I really like him here as the last pick of this draft. I feel like the fact that he fell all the way here, I'm very happy about it.
I was debating between taking Evan Ingram at my flex.
Honestly, I think either pick would have been a really good pick, for your flex position, but just worked out that way.
Yeah. So I hope we have better picks going into the future. It's really tough when you only have 4 quarterbacks or 4 starting quarterbacks. Yeah. But I am definitively saying I'm coming in last in this situation. I have no running back. I do have 2 wide receivers.
Well, you did it to yourself by taking the 2 best receivers in the division, so it serves you right.
I did. Well, good thing this is PPR, so I can win this thing.
Yeah, I think T-Law alone is going to carry me, but I'm not going to lie. I'm not thrilled with the rest of my
I actually really like the team that I ended up with. I think this is about as well as I could have done in this division. Just the pairing of Taylor and Etienne, I think, will carry me pretty far.
I'm just saying, if Stroud works out and has a good rookie year, I don't think my team can be stopped.
I could say the same about Richardson.
Yeah. True, but I'm just saying. Stroud, no doubt that he's going to be the day one starter regardless. So
the good news is they all play in the AFC South, so they get to play each other.
I just can't believe Ryan Tannehill didn't get
Ryan
Minshew.
That's crazy. And
I had to.
I mean,
look,
if you were going to take a backup, you could have taken a young backup.
Which one should I have taken?
No, Levis.
Davis Mills.
You're going to take
Will Levis.
Davis Mills.
Yeah.
I would have taken
Davis
Levis.
Mills.
CJ.
All right. Well, more fun next week when we explore the NFC South potentially. So,
can we do a good division?
We can. We don't have to start at the bottom. We can do a good division.
No.
Name
AFC West. Come on.
AFC West. We like to say
whoever gets stuck with Jimmy G is gonna absolutely eat it. But
I don't know if he gets drafted. But all right. Look, we have some NCAA baseball to get to. I'm sure the Phillies are playing, and Zach will tell me all about that. But look, another good week, and we'll see you next week after all these NBA trades go down, after the draft goes down. There'll be a ton to talk about there. More NFL football. Pass the rock summer. This is what we do. So, adios. Oh,